In this video, I'm going to share my findings as to which is the best device for filmmakers, the iPhone 17 in ProRes RAW or the Google Pixel 10 Pro in 12-bit DCG RAW. The answer is both more complicated and surprising than I'd originally thought. From image quality, autofocus and stabilization to ProRes RAW versus MotionCam RAW workflows, file sizes, storage requirements, accessories, durability, and more, this is the ultimate deep dive you've been waiting for. First, let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, ProRes RAW,
which is the industry-leading Apple-developed video codec that records all of the information captured by the camera's sensor, provide unparalleled flexibility in post-production.
Like me, you probably expected the iPhone 17 Pro to deliver on the promise of RAW video, and by RAW video I mean unprocessed data captured directly from the camera's sensor, devoid of any additional image signal processing or ISP, and we didn't get that. Apple still applies a ton of processing to the data coming off the sensor before encoding it to ProRes RAW. This means your noise reduction, vignette correction, even enhanced dynamic range via frame stacking is all still present. Is it better than standard ProRes available on the 15 and 16 Pro? Yes, a bit. Does it deliver a great image? Mostly. But is it RAW video? No, it's not. A better name is ProRes Almost RAW. Of course, Apple baking in a ton of ISP has some benefits, like sparing you denoising in post, but that defeats the whole purpose of RAW video, which should offer full control over your image in post thanks to untouched RAW sensor data, something the Pixel 10 Pro delivers in spades using MotionCam Pro. So how does ProRes RAW compare to true 12-bit RAW video on the Pixel 10 Pro? Unlike the iPhone, MotionCam Pro captures the RAW sensor data and saves it in its proprietary MC RAW video format. You can then convert this to DCG RAW for editing. This bypasses all the phone's image signal processing and delivers a true RAW video format, which is simply delightful. Whereas ProRes RAW allows for ISO, exposure bias, detail, noise, and temperature adjustments in Resolve, RAW video from the Pixel 10 Pro offers a much more comprehensive suite of camera RAW adjustments like highlight and shadow controls, saturation and contrast, sharpness, and most impressively, highlight recovery. This allows us to clip the green channel at time of recording and restore the image information from the unclipped red and blue channels, which is incredibly useful and delivers amazing dynamic range. On the iPhone 17 Pro, however, once your highlights are clipped, they are gone forever. You can't retrieve that information as ProRes RAW on the iPhone does not support highlight recovery. And while the iPhone certainly delivers reduced sharpening in ProRes RAW versus non-Apple log formats, it still appears to receive some additional sharpening. Look how much more organic the Pixel 10 looks with sharpness set to 0 versus the iPhone 17 Pro. And let's take a quick look at ADR in play on the iPhone 17 Pro. If you film in a high dynamic range scene with very bright highlights, with exposure set to auto, we get dynamic range that is too good to be true. That is, until we lock exposure. You can see that the frame stacking HDR ISP is suddenly disabled, and we instantly lose our highlight detail. Clear proof that this is anything but RAW video. On the one hand, this is kind of a cool feature, extra dynamic range in auto mode, but it is bad for consistency and should not be a feature of RAW video. And the other thing that struck me when comparing the image out of both smartphones is how much richer the color information is on the Pixel, especially in more subtle gradients like the sky at dusk, or in high contrast scenes that feature a lot of highlight information. The iPhone just doesn't capture everything that was actually available to it, and it isn't just a matter of increasing saturation either. The Pixel consistently captures higher quality images that are more representative of what I perceive with my eye while filming. And lastly, let's compare the file size of RAW in MotionCam Pro versus ProRes RAW and ProRes RAW HQ on the iPhone. A 1-minute recording on the Pixel 10 Pro comes in at approximately 15 GB in .mc RAW format. When this is converted to the RAW DNGs, the same clip is 19 GB when ready to edit. On the iPhone 17 Pro, the same minute-long recording clocks in at 7.88 GB in ProRes RAW and 12 GB in ProRes RAW HQ, making the iPhone much more efficient for file size, but the downside is there is less data to work with, and it shows. So when we compare the RAW video on the iPhone 17 Pro versus the Google Pixel 10 Pro, the Pixel is the clear winner in this round when it comes to pure image quality. Now let's compare the quality of the glass on the iPhone 17 Pro versus the Pixel 10 Pro. On paper, the two devices stack up pretty closely, with the iPhone offering a 13mm ultra-wide lens, the 24mm main lens, and a 100mm telephoto lens, all using 48-megapixel sensors. The Pixel 10 Pro features a 48-megapixel 13mm ultra-wide, a 50-megapixel 25mm main lens, and a 48-megapixel 114mm telephoto lens. Both main lenses are excellent. The ultra-wide on the Pixel is prone to heavier chromatic aberration on the corners than the iPhone, and the tele lenses are close, but I'd give the Pixel the edge. It is 14mm longer than the iPhone, supports a much closer minimum focus distance, and delivers gorgeous results. But the Pixel has another trick up its sleeve thanks to MotionCam Pro. Unlike on the iPhone 17 Pro, which does not support in-sensor zoom to provide additional focal lengths in ProRes RAW, the Pixel 10 Pro delivers a 51mm and 228mm lens, which is achieved by cropping in on the sensor. And has Apple improved their signature lens flare, which has long plagued the iPhone? Yes, the lens coating is much improved on the 17 Pro, and what's more, Google has achieved the impressive feat of beating Apple when it comes to ugly lens flares, delivering a pronounced green goblin on the main lens when filming bright underfused light sources. Now when it comes to image stabilization, there is a clear winner here, the Pixel 10 Pro. It offers optical image stabilization on all rear lenses when capturing in OpenGate RAW, whereas the iPhone 17 Pro disables stabilization on all lenses in ProRes RAW. Not even sensor shift is available on the iPhone. Handheld, this is literally the difference between getting usable footage and shots only your trash can will get to enjoy, especially on the tele lens, which is simply unusable on the iPhone. When it comes to low light performance, you could say this is where the iPhone's Almost RAW with heavy noise reduction performed in camera really shines. You can get an incredibly clean image straight out of camera, but of course you're deprived of the ability to denoise in post using something like Resolve or Neat Video. The Pixel 10 Pro is no slouch either here, thanks to DCG being enabled on the sensor when using the main wide lens, and you get very good low light performance and a lot more color information in the shadows when compared to the iPhone. But as you would expect, there is a lot more noise present as this is free from denoising. It's hard to pick a winner here because you're comparing apples to oranges. It comes down to whether you want full control over denoising in post or a super clean image out of camera. Both are strong performers here, with the Pixel giving the most pure image with more chroma information intact. Next, let's talk about some key specs as they pertain to video, such as frame rates, sustained performance, and thermals. And let's start with resolution. On the iPhone 17 Pro, we get a slightly higher max resolution of 4224 by 3024, and on the Pixel 10 Pro, we get 4080 by 3072. ProRes RAW is only supported when capturing to an external SSD on the iPhone, which is a key limitation, whereas RAW capture on the Pixel is supported both internally and externally to an SSD, which is great. When it comes to record times, I've successfully recorded over 1 hour of 4K ProRes RAW HQ at 120 FPS to my external SSD, and no doubt it would go for much longer if I had the patience. On the iPhone, you're simply limited by available storage on your SSD. On the Pixel 10 Pro, when recording externally to the same SSD, I can record continuously for a max of about 20 minutes in RAW before I get dropped frames and I/O bottlenecks in cool conditions. While filming this video, I've had dropped frames when recording internally after just 5 minutes, so ambient temperatures play a big role in the sort of performance you can expect from the Pixel. For extended record times, the iPhone 17 Pro is the clear winner. When it comes to max supported frame rates, again, the iPhone 17 Pro wins here, with support for 60 FPS in OpenGate and 120 FPS in 4K. The Pixel 10 Pro is limited to a max of 30 FPS in OpenGate at 4K and 120 FPS at 1080p in 10-bit RAW without DCG. However, it will drop frames after 5 to 10 seconds, so it isn't a reliable high-speed filmmaking option. Something else to be aware of on the Pixel 10 Pro is the laser detect autofocus module positioned directly next to the wide lens. This is constantly firing and will be reflected on close objects and more problematically on your ND filter or lens. This means you'll need to cover it with blue tack or electrical tape if you intend to use an ND filter. The iPhone 17 doesn't have this issue, nor does any other Android device I've tested. And speaking of autofocus, even when the LDAF is uncovered on the Pixel 10 Pro, it still performs significantly worse than the iPhone, which does a much better job. Unless you are dead center in the frame, the Pixel 10 just won't focus on you. So where possible on the Pixel, make sure you use manual focus, and of course MotionCam Pro supports focus peaking to nail this. But if you're a one-man band like yours truly that relies on autofocus, the iPhone is the winner here too. And when it comes to general performance, the Pixel is a serious underachiever. Even in just mildly warm conditions, the CPU will throttle after just 5 to 10 minutes of use when filming in RAW, which leads to instabilities in capture. The iPhone 17 Pro, even the 15 Pro actually, offers flawless sustained performance even in really warm environments that puts the Pixel to shame. And lastly, what makes the Pixel 10 Pro so special is it's the first phone to unlock dual conversion gain, or DCG, on the sensor out of the box. I've made a whole video on why this is amazing that you can watch, but just think of this as dual output gain that you'll find on high-end cinema cameras, where it can capture two analog exposures simultaneously and merge them for improved noise and expanded dynamic range, but not to be confused with HDR frame stacking. There is no ghosting present with DCG. So in this regard, the Pixel 10 Pro is in a league of its own, but due to all the other issues I've just outlined, imagine what would happen if Xiaomi, Samsung or Vivo unlocked DCG on their sensors without the performance issues that plague the Pixel. So when it comes to supported frame rates, sustained record times and performance in general, the iPhone 17 Pro absolutely destroys the Pixel in this round when it comes to key specs. When it comes to filmmaking accessories like cases, tripod mounts, ND filters and lenses, the iPhone 17 Pro is the clear winner by a country mile. In fact, no manufacturer currently makes a dedicated solution for the Pixel 10 Pro, although I hope that will change in the future. On the iPhone, we get dozens of options from companies like Moment, SmallRig, and my personal favorite, Freewell. This makes rigging out your phone easy with professional gear like their hybrid VND filter solution that even supports drop-in filters with the Pro Filmmaker case. On the Pixel 10 Pro, we are currently limited to universal solutions. The best of them comes from Neewer. I use it with a 67mm magnetic step-up ring with the Freewell M2 ND filter kit and Freewell lenses, and it gets the job done, but is only available on AliExpress right now. So while you can rig out your Pixel 10 Pro effectively, it doesn't come close to the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max on the accessory front. No matter how great an image you can pull from your camera, a major factor in choosing the right device is workflow. How quickly and easily can you go from capture to import, edit, grade, and upload? And for myself at least, this is where the iPhone 17 Pro shines, thanks to ProRes RAW. Despite its ISP limitations and all that comes with that, the fact that you can capture directly to an SSD, then simply connect it to your computer and start editing with nothing else to do, is one of the key reasons you might choose the 17 Pro over the Google Pixel. With MotionCam Pro RAW on the Pixel, you will need to perform the extra step of converting the MC RAW video files to DNG. This certainly isn't as quick and easy as ProRes RAW, but it is true RAW and brings all of the imaging benefits, and in my opinion is well worth the extra steps for projects where image quality takes priority over speed. But in the time it takes to just export my RAW files from MotionCam Pro ready for editing, I could have finished a full edit with ProRes RAW and published to YouTube, so for fast turnarounds, the iPhone 17 Pro's ProRes RAW wins for workflow. Another key consideration for filmmakers is durability and reliability of these devices. If you're treating them as cameras instead of phones, you need to be sure they can withstand the many perils of filmmaking, from knocks to drops, and should they sustain any damage, have them repaired without it negatively impacting your shooting schedule too much. Both my iPhone and Pixel have taken a drop. My iPhone sank to the bottom of the Hobart waterfront after I tripped and flicked it out of the tripod clamp. It remained submerged for over 3 hours, 10 feet below in freezing ocean waters, while I went and purchased a powerful magnet and magnet fished for it for over an hour before reeling it in. Thankfully, the Freewell Pro Filmmaker's magnetic lens mount meant I retrieved it without issue. An hour to dry out and all ports and functionality was perfect, like it never happened. Had it been completely foobarred, my Apple Care would have resulted in a full device replacement with no questions asked, or if damage was minor, a repair in-store at my local Apple shop in Hobart. At worst, I'd be out of action for 1 to 4 days. Now compare this with the Pixel 10 Pro. This got blown on a tripod by strong winds into about 4 inches of water and was submerged for less than 30 seconds before I retrieved it. This was enough to break the USB-C port completely. Even after drying it out, it never regained full functionality. No worries, I thought, it's under warranty. I'll arrange a walk-in repair. No go. Google does not have a single repair shop in the whole state of Tasmania. This means I had to send it in for exchange, which Google claims takes about 2 weeks to complete. Well, longer, as after waiting 2 hours to chat to Google support, they experienced technical difficulties, meaning I couldn't even return my phone. In fact, 4 days later, I'm yet to get word on how I actually send this in for repair. If this was my only camera and I relied on it for my work, I'd be completely f***ed. After this mishap, I was surprised I'd never been prompted to purchase the equivalent of Apple Care, which is called Pixel Care Plus, to protect my investment, only to find it doesn't exist outside of the USA. Another fail for the Pixel. So after the painful experience of the iPhone sitting on the ocean floor for 3 hours and the wind taking my tripod with Pixel into shallow waters, it is clear which is the more durable device. But beyond that, unless you're in the USA, without Pixel Care Plus coverage combined with a painful and lengthy repair process, I would not invest in the Pixel as my primary device. Any accident will leave me out of pocket and out of work for at least 2 weeks, which is simply not acceptable for a device that costs the same amount of the iPhone 17 Pro, but without any of the excellent support and coverage that Apple delivers. At the end of the day, we're looking at 2 premium smartphones that can rival some dedicated cameras when it comes to image quality. It's wild how far mobile video has come, and on Android this is thanks to MotionCam Pro. For most people, the decision comes down to platform. Some prefer Android, others iOS, with the camera being secondary to this, and whichever way you go, the video you can capture today is nothing short of incredible. The important thing is to actually get out there and shoot something meaningful. The tools are already in your hands. But for the filmmakers who treat their phone as a dedicated camera, the misfits, the rebels, the raw doggers, who want the most control possible, here's where the paths diverge. If you value ease of use, extended recording, lightning-fast workflow, and a huge accessory ecosystem with robust device protection in the case of unfortunate events, the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max is unmatched. Apple's ISP handles the heavy lifting for you, delivering a decent image that's quick to cut, grade, and publish, even if it's not true RAW. But if you value complete control, true RAW video with the most filmic image possible on a smartphone, internal recording, optical image stabilization that makes handheld capture possible, albeit without any protection outside of the USA's Pixel Care Plus in the case of damaging your device, Pixel 10 Pro is the winner, provided you're willing to take on a more demanding workflow and capture constraints due to its poor GPU performance and frequent CPU throttling. Both phones are incredibly capable, and the best one really depends on what matters to you as a filmmaker. In fact, after over a month of daily filming with the Pixel, it is obvious that the Xiaomi 15 Ultra excels where the Pixel 10 Pro fails. With its 1-inch sensor and incredible performance, with full support for direct log, my feeling is this is a much stronger competitor to the iPhone 17 Pro overall, and there is no doubt it produces a much better image with MotionCam Pro. So let me know if you'd like to see how it stacks up against the 17 Pro in a future video. Now I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. I always appreciate hearing and learning from you. Which do you think looks better, and which would you pick and why? Pixel 10 Pro or the iPhone 17 Pro? If this video helped, hit like, give it a hype, share it around, that helps the most, and consider supporting my work through a YouTube membership, which gets you access to all sorts of perks, including source footage, or via my affiliate links, and by purchasing my LUTs. These videos take a huge personal investment of both time, money, and elevated stress levels. No sponsors, just me. And your support makes future videos possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I've been trying to complete this video for over a month now, but the weather has been awful, so let's settle this once and for all. Hey Siri, which is the best RAW pocket cinema camera? The iPhone 17 Pro or the Google Pixel 10 Pro?
It is currently 37 degrees in Pixley, California.
Are you stupid? I was asking about RAW video performance.
Now playing Hypnotized by the Notorious B.I.G. and Apple Music.
No, stop. I'll get demonetized.
Activating demonize mode.
I said demonetized.
Oh, hey, Elliot. It's Tim Cook here. Congrats on unlocking Demon Mode on iOS, which is currently in beta. And I'm so excited for you to see what's coming soon to iOS 27. Before we proceed, I just need you to agree to our terms and conditions.
What are they?
Oh, just the standard stuff. We store all discussions and sell them to advertisers, share sensitive details with local law enforcement, and you grant us full ownership of your eternal soul.
And if I do this, you can answer the question that Siri can't?
Oh, absolutely. That bitch doesn't know shit. I can tell you anything you want.
Okay, sounds like a good deal. I'm in.
Thanks, Elliot. Now, the temperature in Pixley, California is currently 37 degrees Celsius.
Oh, f*** you, Tim. I can't believe I sold my soul for a weather report in a foreign country.
Oh, hey, Elliot. I'm Gemini. Don't worry. That claim against your soul won't hold up. We already own your soul, which you granted us full rights to when you created your Google account back in 2009. How can I help?
Oh, f*** you, Google.
No, f*** you, Tim. You can't even get the weather right. You literally have Elliot's real-time geolocation, and he is clearly in Hobart right now.
Look, you two, stop bickering. I need you to look through all of my test results over the past 2 months, summarize them, and then tell me which device is the better pro video camera so I can share this information with my audience.
I'd love to, but your Pixel has now implemented thermal throttling due to the mildly warm temperatures and will now shut down. Have a great day.
Shit, that backfired. I guess we'll have to do this the good old-fashioned way.